All right, folks, good morning. Let's get started. So for today, September the 11th, Wednesday, we have the following. For 8:30 a.m., we had core CPI month over month, which actually came in slightly higher than expected. CPI month over month came in as expected. CPI year over year came in as expected as well. Now, I need to emphasize that this is a very important report because remember that the FOMC, the Fed, said that they're going to switch their focus to jobs away from inflation because they believe that inflation is moderating enough where they need to focus somewhere else. And of course, that leads to the expectation that interest rates are going to be dropped. They're going to lower interest rates this year. However, if inflation does not continue to moderate, that gives them a reason not to lower rates. Now, since it's one out of three that came in higher than expected, perhaps that's going to be good enough to say, well, at least year over year inflation is as expected. It's lower than it was the last reading, and core CPI month over month is unchanged. But the fact that you see an uptick here month over month does suggest that we might be seeing inflation moving up again. And if that's the case, that should push back a rate cut until next year. So that's a major thing to consider. So we'll see what happens. Once the market opens, we'll see if this is going to have a strong impact or not. Now, at 1:01 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have the 10-year bond auction. Not expecting that to have much of an impact. So that's about it. Looking at the pre-market, we can see here that the QQQ ETF is currently trading lower than where it was yesterday. I do want you to note that when this report came out, you can see the sharp drop there. And that is very, very important because, again, the market was going to be sensitive. I wrote about this in today's newsletter that we're probably going to get some sensitivity from the market if the numbers come in on an uptick rather than as expected. And sure enough, we did. Now, having said that, we'll see at the market open if this continues, but obviously we had some pressure to the downside right away. So obviously some market participants wanted to sell based on that news, where others are looking at it perhaps as a buying opportunity. Yesterday's action was very neutral. We did close slightly higher, but obviously there was no clear trend. For the most part, the market stayed between the opening price of yesterday and the closing price. I'm sorry, the opening price of yesterday and the closing price of the previous day, the day before that. Now, taking a look at the stocks, which were moving yesterday, we didn't have a very long list, but they were okay. First up, we have, first up we have, actually, no, we don't have that one. One second. First up we have Starbucks, which was bearish at first and then it reversed. So we're looking for it to make a move down, and it did, but it didn't get to T1. It bottomed out yesterday at 91.14. Negative T1 was at 90.95, and then it reversed up from there. So we didn't get much out of that, but it should have been a small profit at the minimum, since by the time it reversed, it already had been, when it got to the VWAP again, it was already below where we got in. So AVGO, Broadcom was a good one. Okay, Broadcom was bullish. Now we were able to reach target number two to the upside eventually of 146.22, and then it went much higher, topped out at 149.86, so went way beyond T2, but we weren't going to stick around for that long. Basically, the stock started to break down over here, and that was our cue to get out and kind of accept that it didn't look like it was going to keep going. It did, but it didn't look like it was going to. Microsoft was able to pass target number one to the upside of 412.36. It topped out at 416.33, was just a little short little shy of the target number two to the upside of 416.52. And then finally, Affirm AFRM was bearish, very nice trend down, able to reach target number two to the downside of 36.14. Okay, so that's pretty much all we had yesterday. Now, looking at the pre-market, here's what I see so far. Not a very long list. First up is AILE, which is presently down 14% on 1.3 million shares. Roughly, it's at least $1 per share. We will go ahead and add that to our pre-market watch list. The symbol is AILE. Next up, we have BKYI. This stock is currently up about 24.5% on 4.7 million shares. It is at least $1 per share, so we'll go ahead and add BKYI to the pre-market watch list. NVIDIA is moving up quickly in the pre-market, but I'm not sure why. Let's see here. Executives are selling. No, doesn't say anything that stands out to me. But I do notice NVIDIA is up, but it's not up enough. It's only up 1.16%. Now, of course, NVDL, that's going to be up double that amount, but neither one of them are qualified, so we'll have to pass on that. Next up is PRFX. That is currently up 6.6% on about 2.7 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. We will go ahead and add PRFX to the pre-market watch list. Lastly, for what I can see, I see RLAY. Relayed Therapeutics, currently down 25% on 2 million shares of trading. It's trading at about $6 a share. The company has a $200 million offering that's coming out. So that's the reason why. Okay. So other than that, if you folks see any other stocks that meet all four of our criteria, let me know in the chat. As a reminder, the criteria are we need a NASDAQ listed stock, and we want that stock to be trading at least $1 per share in the pre-market. Also in this pre-market, it must have achieved at least 1 million shares of volume and must have achieved at this moment at least a 6% price change, positive or negative. All right, thank you, Jen. Let's take a look. BCTX is first. That's currently up 177% on 41 million shares plus, well over $1 per share. So we'll add BCTX to the pre-market watch list. Briacell Therapeutics is the name of the company. Next up, we have QH. That is currently up 81.95%, 26.6 million shares. Is at least $1 per share as well. We will add that to the pre-market watch list. Next up, we have PLCE. That's presently up 57%. Children's Place Incorporated, 3.4 million shares, at least $1 per share. Yep, so that definitely qualifies. We'll add that to the pre-market watch list, PLCE. Next up, we have DJT, Donald Trump Media, currently down 13.31%, 2.7 million shares, and currently trading at about 16 bucks. So we'll add that to the list, DJT. And next up, we have, actually, we already got AILE, so we got that one already. All right, so if you folks see any other stocks other than the ones we've already mentioned that meet all four of our criteria, let me know in the chat. We'll take a look. Plug Power. I did see that, but I didn't put it out there. Let me just take a look. No, it's only up 2.66%. But the other thing is that if you look at this, this is not what you want to see on the chart. This is very pixelated. and that basically means that it's barely moving. So definitely want to skip that one. It doesn't have to be low volume, it's just low range. In other words, it's the range is so small that the bars can be 1 or 2 pennies tall. So that's pretty much a guarantee you're not going to make any money on that. So I would just skip that one. All right. All right, folks. So we'll wrap up for this morning. Please be sure to like the video. See, we have 11 likes, but more than 11 people watching. Please be sure to hit that like button, folks. It greatly helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you get notifications whenever we publish a new video. Other than that, for anyone who's watching this video on a replay, if you're not familiar with our company, check out fundertrading.com, our website. There's a link in the description of this video. Other than that, for everyone else who's part of the coaching program, I will see you there in about 23 minutes. Then we'll go from there. All right, folks, have a great trading session. Take care.